I had a call from a relative yesterday, and he was looking, or going to go look at one of the newer Japanese-made Winchester 4570s. And, 4570 is really my favorite cartridge. I shoot them in the Marlin. But those new Winchesters, or newer, that are made in Japan, seem to be a pretty nice gun, though fairly expensive. And I thought, well, if he decides to get this, he doesn't reload. So I'm going to try to get him into that, because he does a lot of shooting, has a lot of guns, but he's just never got into the reloading. And I happen to think, I've got extra die sets. I think I even have an extra of the Lee loaders. I could get him started on that. But I'll have to see if he actually picks that gun up. And I'd kind of like to see him get it, because like I say, I really like 4570. But I thought, well, if he does get it, I want to start him out with, I make these relatively low power, it's a 405 cast, but I load them with Trail Boss. So they aren't as vicious as, you get a heavy load and they could be a handful. Though I think the Winchester is a little bit heavier gun, and they can take high pressures. But I thought I better try these, because some of these Trail Boss loads now, they've been kicking around in these boxes for some of them a couple years. So I thought, well, I better try them and make sure they actually function yet. But I'll have to see if he does get that. I'll have to see about getting him started, at least with the Lee loader, because that's simple enough. But these Trail Boss loads, I always make them up in case somebody who really couldn't handle or would be nervous about the heavy loads, that they can shoot it and it doesn't bother them. But I just want to try and make sure they still function. There was no reason that they shouldn't. But I always load these with the Winchester brass, because I had trouble with that before. With the high power loads, it splits the brass, but for these Trail Boss, it works fine. But I prefer that Starline. These are no joke either, the Trail Boss loads, because really what I'm doing, it's with the 4cc scoop, and I load them right up to the base of the bullet with that Trail Boss. So they got a pretty good wallop to them. Now this is one of the heavier loads I load with 4064. And that's a considerably bigger wallop. But I figure rather than start him right out on them, get him on some of those Trail Boss ones. Now these, I haven't loaded with jacketed bullets for a long time, and these are hollow points. So I'm pretty sure, though the label has worn off the box, which is always a little risky, but I used to load with 4227, and there again, they were a nerve jangling load. But yeah, that's not near what that 4064 load is, because those really get your attention. But they'll reach out there, whereas these Trail Boss loads, they kind of drop off. I mean, you can get a couple 100 yards out of them, but you end up, you know, if you're trying to get range out of them, you have to play with the sights. They're fine for like 100 yards. But I really kind of hope he gets that. You know, I prefer the Marlin because the Marlin's a lot easier to work on. The Winchesters are kind of a nightmare. You know, to take apart. Marlin is very simple. But when I look at the new Marlins, you know, I'm still not impressed with them. I mean, I don't like that Remington's version of it. But the old JM ones, that's a hell of a gun. But I'd like to, I hope he gets that Winchester. But at least I got him something to get started here. And like I said, I think I got an extra lead loader. I could maybe get him loading. Though it's a slippery slope because I know once he's started, he's one of these guys that goes heavy into equipment. So he'll be buying loading gear. You know, so we'll see. But he spends a lot on expensive ammunition.